The reason why we connected on the Twitter sphere is because you put out a video. So I want to play it and have you respond to it. So play the TikTok because you're very, very, very popular on TikTok, and your TikTok handle is
Michelle.
Some Michelle. That's right, Son Michelle. All right, play it, Smiz.
Peace. Attention white women who are either misled or lying in my comments to everyone else about white women's role in white supremacy. This is apparently what you believe and would have everyone else believe is your historical relationship with white men, the damsel and the villain. When in fact, this is your historical relationship with white men. Bonnie and Clyde. Bonnie and Clyde were partners in crime. Were they equal partners? No. The lion's share of the dirt was done by Clyde. When it came time to split their take, the split was not even. Now imagine thinking that oppression is not getting equal share of ill-gotten gains stolen from other people. Furthermore, imagine thinking that your bid for equality with your partner in crime is the same as the people you victimize looking for justice or reparations for what you took from them. Every step of the way in the creation and perpetuation of white supremacy, white women were there alongside the white men, benefiting. Benefiting equally? No, but accomplices nonetheless. In fact, there were times when white men disallowed white women from participating in their wrongdoing, and white women chose to do it anyway, on their own. When the KKK banned female members, white women created the WKKK. Yeah. Women of the Ku Klux Klan, and a branch for their kids, the Ku Klux Kitties. White men owned and abused enslaved Africans, white women owned and abused enslaved Africans. But don't just take my word for it, read this book. They Were Her Property, White Women as Slave Owners in the American South by Stephanie E. Jones Rogers. White men terrorized and lynched black men and razed entire black communities to the ground of the false accusation of sexual assault. And who levied the accusations? White women, who weaponized their virtue against the black community in service of white supremacy. And of course, when a white man calls you out on your complicity, you rightly point out he's got some nerve. When a black man does it, you call him a misogynist. When a black woman does it, you say she's not a good feminist. Well, there's a reason that black women generations ago started using the term womanist to separate themselves from your movement, because even your women's rights movement was racist. White women, you are not the damsel to the white man's villain. You are the Bonnie to the white man's Clyde. The sooner you can reconcile that truth, the better.
We're going to talk about this when we come back with Sun Michelle. It's the Karen Hunter Show. We'll be right back.
Say his name. Philip White. Say his name.
Stop calling them Karens. They're Jennies, they're Bonnies, they're Amy's, they're Becky's, and all of the other things. All right.
They loathe that Bonnie comparison because the number one thing that they have going for them is this innocence, this purity, this myth of them being the damsel tied to the tracks. Like, right. Oh, they didn't know that. Somebody told me that white women voted for Donald Trump because their husbands wanted them to vote for Donald Trump. Now, you tell me how many people can go in a voting booth at a time?
One. You already know. So how would they know? 54% of y'all, 53% of y'all. All right.
Well, now my official statement on the whole Will and Chris thing was, don't ask me. Like, you know, if you're not black and family and off the internet, like, you know, there's certain conditions under which I will talk about this, but other than that, don't ask me. If you happen to come across me talking about it with somebody who's relevant and in that space, then maybe you can overhear something, be nosy, but don't ask me. And so what happened was people like, you know, I guess they felt entitled to my take on it. Like for me to you know, which that ain't how this work. You know, last time I checked, this app free. So, you know, nah. And they started the conversation on their own. And then here comes the interlopers and here come the infiltrators getting all up in the middle of everything, gaslighting black women. And so anybody who knows me and knows how I run my spaces know that's a no-no. So, you know, I see the conversation, you know, transpiring. And so what I did do, I said, well, you know what? If the argument is against black women, if black women are saying, we don't mind jokes, it's not like, because, you know, it's the old gaslight. No, y'all can't take a joke. You just don't like it because he calling y'all out. And the sisters are like, no, that's not it. We know jokes. Like, we grow up with jokes. We tell jokes. We crack jokes. We know jokes that are helpful, harmful. We know jokes that, you know, come on now, we know jokes. But this ain't that. And so I said, well, I'll tell you what, I'll give you an example of Bill Burr calling out white women, Chris Rock calling out black women, and let y'all compare the two as to who's doing what in their set. In Bill's set, he was taking white women to task for their complicity in white supremacy, and then saying, you don't get to hijack Black women or Black people's movement and place yourself at the front as an oppressed group when you are a part of the reason that these people are an oppressed group. Like, that's not how that works. You need to sit next to me and take your talking to from these people whose movement you're trying to hijack. That was basically the gist of Bill's set. Chris Rock's set was just reinforcing a whole series of stereotypes, negative stereotypes about Black women. And my point wasn't that Bill is not problematic and Chris is problematic. My point was sisters kept saying, this is what he's doing. And we kept being told that's not what he's doing. So I said, okay, well then here's exhibit A and here's exhibit B. Can you tell the difference between when somebody just kind of giving you a good one, like kind of ribbing you a little bit, or when somebody's literally trying to assassinate your character for fun for an audience that don't love them? And that's the problem, is the majority of people in your audience are laughing at them, not with them. And so that was it. I didn't make any other commentary on it. And I just let the conversation unfold. Well, in came all these bunnies lying, denying, and gaslighting Black women, saying, oh, y'all are basically bad feminists because you're being divisive. You're falling for the men. Don't let the men tear us apart. No, sisters are like, what?